Let's talk a little bit about the fundamentals of handicapping. All right. You're going to see a lot of things that you're comfortable and familiar with, but then there's going to be some about faces in some respects. So the purpose of the World Handicap System, obviously, obtain and maintain a handicap index. Now, instead of just being able to play in the United States, you can play anywhere with it. And again, recreational. And I guess that's the snapshot as to why. Minimum scores to obtain a handicap index. It's 54 holes now, and it can be made up of any combination. It used to be 5 18-hole rounds. All right, so we can get there a little quicker. No time limit on competing the submission of these scores, so they can stay on the record for years. Maximum handicap index is 54.0. That clearly goes up almost 18 for guys and 14 for ladies. And the course handicap is handicap index times slope rating divided by 113 plus the course rating minus par. First time you're ever going to see par in a course rating component. So now we're going to start talking about playing handicap, which frankly is going to be a little bit more burdensome than what our current system is like. So the playing handicap is essentially the course handicap times the handicap allowance. And if there's any difference in par, that would be essentially part of that. If different tees are in use, a player's playing handicap is adjusted by the difference in par. Player's maximum score for handicap purposes, ensuring bad holes don't impact a player's handicap too severely. So an 8's a max for course handicap of 15.6, and I think I've got a little breakdown here. So net double bogey is equal to par plus 2 plus handicap strokes received or given on that hole. Okay, time frame for submitting scores. Because we have the playing conditions calculation change into this into the differential for that day, we ask that everybody post scores by midnight, whatever your local time is, so that a playing conditions calculation can be built in to that differential for that round for that day. Okay, so into the actual handicap formula itself. Okay, there are 5 significant changes to the handicap calculation. Minimum scores, obviously, we already talked about that. That's 3 now, 54 holes, anyway we get there. The number of differentials changes from 10, Kurt, to 8, so that reduces that just a little bit as well. Playing conditions calculation, an exceptional score reductions that considers all scores, and then there's a soft cap and a hard cap on those score dynamics based on what your 12-month cycle looks like. Okay, so now the numbers of differentials used. Clearly it used to be 5 to start, you know, as far as lowest, whatever. Now we're actually doing an adjustment. So we start with 3 scores, and there's an adjustment to the actual differential based on that first score that's being used of those 3. Used to not be there at all. Now it's there. It's obviously all in the system. All right, so for an 18-hole score differential, it's calculated 113 divided by slope times adjusted gross score minus course rating minus the playing conditions calculation adjustment. All right. All right, so we're talking about 8 of the last 20 now as far as the handicap index itself is concerned. All right, playing conditions calculations. So maybe to your point. When adverse weather conditions or abnormal course setup causes courses to be unusually high or low on a given day, a playing conditions calculation will adjust score differentials to better reflect the player's actual performance. That scores differential is 7 strokes or better than the handicap index from when the round was played. They'll apply an ESR table reduction to the new handicap index. So there's a 1 adjustment and a 2 adjustment. All right. So this is in addition to any reduction caused by the score being used in the updated 8 of 20. Okay, so now we have a memory of the low handicap index. The low handicap index represents the demonstrated ability of a player over a 12-month period preceding the most recent score in the player's scoring record and provides a reference point against which the current handicap index can be compared. All right, so here are how the cap procedures work. A soft cap and a hard cap will be implemented to limit the extreme upward movement of the player's handicap index within a 12-month period. All right, the soft cap will suppress upward movement by 50% after 3.0 stroke increase over the low handicap index has been reached. So this is at 50%. Okay? Now, the hard cap will restrict their upward motion to 0.5 or to 5 strokes. So the most you're ever going to change over a 12-month rolling calendar is you're going to go up 5. Period. Period. Okay, so TM rounds in 2019. Yankee Trace leads the way at 14,000, NCR's at 11, Walnut Grove is at 10. It's all based on a GGID. I think some of you are familiar with a scorecard. So this is for the individual group. This is for the individual round. And then that's also for the event itself. So there's 3 different ways to identify those screens. All right. Download it. Obviously, it's there. Okay. I'm going to call on Matt Dooley. Matt, would you mind coming up for a bit? So why don't you talk through a little bit what you do with your simulators?
We predetermine what courses we're going to use. We have to build in the courses, the handicap, all that stuff. I don't know if you haven't done that. You have to go in there, edit course, and build everything in there. From there, we just go ahead and assign. Week 1 is going to be, let's say that says Barton Creek. I know you can't read it. Next week will be Gallery North. So we'll go through there, add everything in there, and really, I mean, it's pretty much if you use Golf Genius now, it's basically like running a regular. Okay. I mean, all we do is just have to fill out a scorecard, put the scores in each week. Okay. But right now, I mean, simulator leagues, we have, one league has 12 guys in it, one has 10 guys. It's a great way to get guys at the golf course this time of year because, today's nice, but tomorrow could be not very good. But we keep them involved in our leagues, involved at the golf course. So, I mean, it's a great way if you have them and keep guys coming.
From a league standpoint, they don't play on the same day, right?
No, that's the beauty of having simulator leagues. They don't have to play the same course conditions because it's all manufactured. So they all have the same hole locations, same, same hardness. You can make the greens however you want. Some of the night leagues, we do have them play on the same night just to get the guys in there so they can play together. But we have a senior men's league that they can play anytime Monday through Thursday before 2 o'clock. They just have to come out. I mean, it takes basically about a half an hour for one guy to play 9 holes by himself, if that. So, I mean, it's pretty open for that.
Talk a little bit about what this is going to look like from a GHIN component moving forward. Now, realize that we have options. So our GHIN technology provider for basically almost everything we do except for accounting and membership is GHIN. We also have a little software program called Golf Nations that allows us to do things online to a certain extent. And some of you are familiar with that. So there's obviously golfer product enhancements, greater data. Clearly that is something that we have to pay much more attention to it. Additional score posting methods, unified golfer product suite, interconnectivity with other GHIN products. All those things are enhanced. So basically our last revision with the current handicap system is December 15th. Then the cutover will start between the 1st and the 2nd. They'll basically do some data cleanup and all that kind of stuff. So if you're, depending upon what you want, there are things that you can load that can run through your GHIN posting screens if you so include it, and your mobile app yourself. New kiosk, new mobile app. GHIN.com is getting relaunched as well. We'll put the GHIN.com through an iframe in our site like we've done in the past. But it's definitely a new look, and it's a new mobile app.